All right, guys, so we're going to look at multiple choice first, okay? All right, so just a reminder, okay, it's 55 questions, 55 minutes, and it's the biggest bulk of your tests. So there's not a lot of time for this. And remember that questions are grouped by a stimulus. So you'll have a stimulus, and then you'll have a series of 3 to maybe 6 questions going with that stimulus, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? We use about a minute per question. Okay, but the first strategy I want to give you is for you to first check the source author and the date. Okay, is it familiar? Have we read it in class? Have we already talked about it? All right, then at that point, you should just be able to peruse the source, refresh your memory, and not spend a lot of time analyzing it again. Okay, then you really need to look at the question. What is the question asking you? All right, it's having you use one of those reasoning processes usually, okay? So you really need to look at what the question is asking you, all right, so that you can narrow down your responses, all right? Okay. Here we go. So an example might be something that looks like this, right? This is a secondary source, okay? It's talking about the South and expansion, all right? The question might look something like this. The economic growth of the South relied primarily on the export of goods to which of the following? All right, here's your A, B, C, and D. Okay, a couple of things looking at this. Obviously, you could pause the video and read the source. But what you need to know is that the source is talking about moving west and the fact that owning slaves was not done by the majority, okay? Only a minority of people actually own slaves. All right, so then the question, if you're looking at the question, it has nothing to really even do with the source, okay? All right, it's asking something about the source, the time period that it's in, okay? So when you look at this, the economic growth of the South relied primarily on the export of goods, all right, to Europe, okay? This is your answer, all right? What you need to know is that this question used the source as nothing more than helping you with the context of 1800 to 1850, talking about the South, talking about their expansion, talking about slavery, okay? And the idea is you need to know about the South and all of these different situations and the context in order to answer this question. The source doesn't actually give you an answer. So this is one example of a multiple choice question, okay? Let's look at another one. All right, so this one is the South Carolina Ordinance of Nullification. Okay, so hopefully by the time you see something like this, you should know something about nullification, something about 1832, something about Jackson versus Calhoun, all right, etc. So a lot of background knowledge should already be there for you. The question would be the ideas expressed in the excerpt emerged most directly from a larger intellectual debate over the, right? So the ideas expressed, the source is only going to give you a concept that's going to relate to a bigger idea within US history, okay? Your choices are a balance between individual freedom and public order, expansion of slavery into the Western territories, priorities of United States foreign policy, and relationship between the federal government and the states. Okay, remember, look at the sourcing first before you even read the source. So it was 1832. Okay, know something about this. All right, duties and imposts on the importation of foreign commodities are unauthorized. So South Carolina is saying that the federal government and what they're doing is unauthorized according to this state's point of view. Okay. That leaves us, okay, to look at the question and think about what is a continuity? What is something from the founding of the country that is carried on throughout at least this time period, and according to the question, is still an intellectual debate? Okay, federal government and states' rights. The relationship between these two is a constant. It never changes. It's always there. Therefore, the source provides you the big picture that you need to look at for the continuity throughout time to answer this question. The source itself does not provide you the answer, okay? This is what you need to remember about multiple choice, all right?